Welcome to Gruene, Texas, a historic district cradled by the Guadalupe River to the west. Although this German town had once been battered and bruised, it is now known as the town that wouldn't die and is one of the most visited places in Texas, welcoming visitors from all over the world. The roots of this town trace back to the mid-1800s when Ernst Friedrich Gruene made the decision to leave Hanover, Germany when he was 26 years old. He made plans to head to Schlaraffenland, the land of plenty, the Utopia, better known as Texas. German noblemen organized a group in 1842 called the Adelsverein, which was a colonial attempt to establish a new Germany within the borders of Texas. For the price of $120, single men would receive transportation to Texas and 320 acres of farmland. Married men, however, were able to purchase twice the acreage for $240. Ernst Gruene was set on getting a double portion. He was engaged when he made the initial decision to come to Texas, but the girl quickly called it off when she realized that he intended to leave Germany. So with that, Ernst had his pastor announce in church that he needed a wife to accompany him to Texas. He visited with applicants, and after much consideration, he had become highly impressed with 19-year-old Antoinette Klopper. When Ernst met Antoinette for the first time, she was washing clothes inside her family's home. He explained his plans to her in great detail, and she listened intently, but continued doing the laundry as if he wasn't proposing.
But when he went to Antoinette's, and she said, well, you have to talk to me here because I've got to get this work done. And he said, well, that's the kind of woman I need to go to Texas with me.
Married on August 7, 1845, the two newlyweds left for America just 3 weeks after the wedding. The voyage, however, was far from ideal for honeymooning. They, along with many other passengers, spent an arduous 11 weeks at sea. During one of the many storms the ship encountered, Ernst was nearly washed overboard. He had 20 gold pieces sewn into his vest, the equivalent of a small fortune today. Upon hearing of her husband nearly losing all of their money, she insisted that Ernst divide the gold pieces up, and in case of another accident, she sewed her portion of the gold into the hem of her skirt. The Margaretha and its 129 passengers finally arrived in Galveston, Texas on November 25, 1845. Due to most wagons and domesticated animals being used in the Mexican War at the time, the Gruenes were unable to begin their journey into the heart of Texas. The group had no choice but to stay in an old cotton shed for 5 weeks before finally getting transportation to the port of Indianola. It was here that they, along with 2,000 other immigrants living in tents, awaited transportation inland for 18 weeks. They reached the utopian area of New Braunfels on May 15, 1846, a long 9 months after departing from their home in Germany. The Gruenes had originally intended to travel on to Fredericksburg, but ended up stopping in this area so Ernst could rest and recover from cholera. They rented a small log cabin on Comal Street near the Comal River. The cold spring-fed river was easy to get to from this location, and Ernst would bathe in it to help bring down his fever. One of the women's cures was to make a tea that was brewed from mud dauber's nest. Surprisingly, his cholera was cured. After Ernst's surprising recovery, the Gruenes decided to stay in New Braunfels. This is where Antoinette gave birth to their second son, Heinrich Gruene.
But he always went by H.D., and he was my great-grandfather.
H.D. Gruene, and his name's on a few buildings, and if you read any of these articles and stuff, he was the driving force behind most of the stuff.
The family moved again to a 10-acre farm located on today's Rock Street, and it was here in 1852 that Ernst and Antoinette's only daughter, Joanna, was born. Joanna would later become known as the famous Oma Gruene, who published many stories about the Gruene family. Although early references to Gruene, Texas exist, the Gruene family first referred to the town as Gruene in September of 1916 in a newspaper ad, and the name became official. From their home in Germany to the Gulf of Mexico, their journey took them halfway across the world to the untamed frontier known as Texas, where the story of Gruene begins.